Good morning. My name is Andrew. I am from Solid Rocket Future, and today we're going to be covering the launch of Astra. Astra is going to have their first ever launch from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and we're going to sit here and watch it and discuss. So, we are going to be waiting for the NASA spaceflight broadcast to start. We are lucky enough to be able to use their footage of today's launch, license information in the description below. And while we're waiting for their stream to go live, we're just going to discuss a little bit about what is happening with today's launch. Bear with me for a moment here while I just adjust a couple volume levels here. The mic was a little blown out, but I think we're in better shape now. So, what is Astra up to today? Let's talk about it. So, this page that you're seeing right now is from spaceflightnow.com. Spaceflightnow.com provides an awesome schedule of all the upcoming launches that are happening pretty much across the world. And they give you all the useful information that you kind of need in a really nice format. So again, that is spaceflightnow.com. Definitely recommend checking that out to keep up to date with all the upcoming launches. But today, we're looking at the February 5th Astra Rocket 3 launch. I'm just going to kind of read what's going on here, but the big picture is this is the first launch by Astra from Cape Canaveral. And we'll talk a little bit more about the licensing and everything they needed to go through to have that happen. But yeah, this is a commercial small satellite launch vehicle developed by Astra. It will launch 4 small experimental CubeSats developed by NASA and U.S. universities. Payloads include BAMA or BAMA-1 CubeSat, the Ionospheric Neutron Content Analyzer CubeSat, and a mission called RSS-1. They were selected for launch by NASA through the agency's Venture Class Launch Services program. And the launch has been delayed a couple times for various reasons, but I think mostly FAA approval. So, of course, this is a development launch vehicle, although we might consider it a live production launch vehicle at this point. It's kind of right on that barrier. Shortly, we'll look at some of the previous launches that have happened with Astra and talk about where they currently stand as a launch provider. But yeah, like I said, when a launch vehicle is going to launch from a new location, say Florida in this specific example, they need to get FAA approval. They need to get the licenses that are required for launch. And the FAA process takes some time. And with the rate that the United States space industry is developing, the FAA almost felt like it was kind of keeping some of these launch providers behind by not issuing these licenses quick enough. So they put in some changes recently, which I think are going to be really good for the industry. Let's talk a little bit about that. So if we look here, this is Astra's Twitter account. They posted on February 4th stating that Astra is thrilled to be the first company with a Part 450 launch license, streamlining launch licenses in the future. And then they thanked FAA for the partnership and support of our goal to expand access to space. So this Part 450 launch license, I have a little bit more information about it here, but it was basically a directive by the FAA to consolidate some of the different licensing into one license process. So Part 450 is a launch licensing structure for commercial spaceflight launch and reentry operations that consolidates these parts under a single licensing regime. Directive from the National Space Council to encourage American leadership in space commerce. So we want to get these launch providers, especially these American launch providers, up into live production mode as quickly as possible, as long as they're safe and meeting all of the guidelines of this licensing. So this is kind of the first test of this licensing, which is really cool that Astra gets that opportunity. So, I think this is going to be a great first step in kind of getting all these new launch providers up to speed. You may have heard that NASA, excuse the sirens in the background if you hear them, but You may have heard NASA has provided a new contract to a lot of newer launch providers to try to get them additional funding and provide more access to space, which is good. The more launches we see, hopefully, the less they cost, and it's really just all around a good thing. So more on that, but let's just check in to make sure that our live stream has not started yet. So I'm seeing here that NASASpaceflight, who is hosting the official live stream for this event, has delayed their go live for today's stream. So that probably means Astra pushed out the launch T-0. So let's check in on that. Astra states 2 minutes ago that we are holding the clock at T-1 hour and 45 minutes. Stay tuned. So what does this mean? There are various reasons for a delay in launch. One is weather. Maybe the weather isn't looking so good. I do see a post here under this tweet from Chance Belois. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But it is looking a little cloudy, and based on those waves, maybe a little bit windy. So there's a chance that they're holding for weather. There's also a chance that they're seeing some... Actually, I'm just realizing now that you're not seeing the screen. This is the post I was talking about. So there's also a chance that the company, Astra, is looking at all the information from their launch vehicle, all the data that's coming back, and something might not be looking completely normal. So they might just be investigating whether the launch vehicle is in good shape for launch today. There really could be various different reasons. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to state the reason for the delay. But if I do hear anything about that, I will keep everybody updated. So it's looking like we're still quite a bit a ways away from launch. So I'm just going to give a few more minutes of some commentary here, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going to happen today. And then we'll probably step away from comms for a little bit and wait for the live stream to start. So let's talk a little bit more about Astra. So the launch vehicle that they're launching is a fairly new launch vehicle. And we can take a look at their some photos from their previous launches here. So this is a picture of their launch vehicle. This is from the official Astra Flickr page. This photo credit goes to John Kraus and Astra. So they've launched multiple times. The most recent launch that they have had was successful. They were able to reach orbit. Previous launches from them have not been as successful, but again, this is a new launch vehicle, and there were just some hurdles they had to jump, and they successfully made it to orbit, which is really exciting. And they are one of a very small amount of private United States companies that have made it to orbit. So they're in that club. It's really cool to see, and we can just take a look at their history here of launches. While this rocket was in development, they definitely had a few failures. Starting in 2018 on their first flight. It was a successful test of the rocket, though it didn't make it to orbit. And as you can see here, that they had quite a few amount of failures here until finally on the 20th of November, they did finally get to orbit, and that was a U.S. Space Force payload. So they've provided real work for the industry so far, and we should continue to see Astra getting real payloads up into orbit for real customers, which is very nice. With all that being said, if you want to learn any more about Astra, of course, you can check out their website, astra.com. If we are still seeing a launch today, we should see it happen from SLC-46, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Launch Complex 46. As you can see here, this is Google Maps. This is Cape Canaveral. this is not Kennedy Space Center. Of course, a lot of people kind of just mix the two together, which is completely fine for most cases. But it's important to note that the NASA launches usually happen on Cape Canaveral. Sorry, on Kennedy Space Center, and all the other launches happen at Cape Canaveral. So, Florida is going to have a real busy year this year with launches, especially if SpaceX meets their goal of averaging one launch per week. So it's going to be a loud, busy year down on the Space Coast. And if we see more launch providers launching from Cape Canaveral, it's going to get even busier. Me personally, I think that's great and exciting. So if you're ever down in Florida, you're going to have a pretty good chance of getting to go see a launch while you're down there. So that's kind of the introduction of what's happening today, what Astra is all about, and what this rocket is trying to do today. Let's just double check on the T-0, and then we'll step away from commentary here for a bit while we just wait for that stream to go live. So whenever the clock does start, it is going to be starting at T-1 hour and 45 minutes. So they have not given any indication when they're going to start the mission clock back up. But from the moment they do, from that point forward, it'll be T-1 hour and 45 minutes. So we're at least 1 hour and 45 minutes from launch. So I'll step away from comms here for a while, and we'll see what updates Astra provides, and we'll jump back on here when we're a little bit closer to launch. In the meantime, I will leave everyone with just I guess just a site here of the NASASpaceflight YouTube, again, who is hosting the official live stream today, which has a little bit of a countdown clock to when their live stream will go live. If that live stream timer does not get updated to be later, that's a good sign that we're still on track for launch. But we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll touch base with everybody shortly. I'll try to get some chill lo-fi music pumped in the background while we're waiting, and I'll talk to everybody shortly. That being said, I will be monitoring live chat, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. I'll pop back on and answer them. In the meantime, if you are here hanging out and chilling, thank you so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear where you're watching from. If you want to just mention what state or country or whatever you're watching from, it's really helpful for me to know where my viewers are. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you in a little bit, and look forward to launch later. like to pop in for a quick second here and just answer a, actually I got some audio in the background here, a quick viewer question. John asked, how many flights has the rocket had so far? So they've had 6 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of those were less than completely successful. The 6th one was their most recent on November 20th, 2021, and that was a successful launch that made it to orbit and successfully deployed the payload. So today will be their 7th launch if they get off the ground here today. But we're still sticking by and waiting for any updates from Astra, and hopefully we'll be back with everybody shortly. Thank you for the question. There we go. I had some problems with my microphone there. So yeah, how's it going, everybody? I just wanted to pop back in real quick and provide an update. We still have not heard anything further from Astra. However, I do notice that the NASA live stream, they haven't, sorry, the NASA spaceflight live stream, not associated with NASA. They haven't pushed their live stream out any further. It is currently stated that it's going to start at 2. I do anticipate there's a pretty good chance that they will push this live stream out further. But let's just hold tight and let's check in on their stream here to see if they push that time any further. I would anticipate that we see an update here shortly. But in the meantime, if there's any further questions, I would be very happy to answer any of them. So please let me know if you have any questions. In the event that the NASA spaceflight live stream does start here soon, that would indicate that we are making progress towards T0, I believe. But I don't want to say that for sure until we see some official updates. In the meantime, thanks again, John, for that question. So yeah, today, if it launches, it'll be the 7th launch. And the first 6, or its first 5, they had some problems with, as it was still pretty early on in development of this launch vehicle. The 6th one was successful. They got up to orbit and deployed their payload. But yeah, hopefully we'll see the next successful launch here today. But I'm just going to hang out tight here. Let's bring some of this background music back in while we just kind of hang out and wait for an update. Just bear with me. Just checking on if Astra has to provide any further updates. I was looking through some tweets here a little bit earlier, and it does look like, this is not official by any means, but it does look like the weather down in the Cape has not been perfect this morning. That could have nothing to do with why we're in a delay. Not entirely sure. But, as I said, I do expect an update here pretty quickly. NASA Spaceflight still has not pushed their stream start time any further. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. So let's see, it's 2:02 Eastern Time right now. I will give this until about, I'll give it 5 minutes. And if we don't see any update, I'll probably just drop back off of comms again for a bit until we do see an update. In the event that we go forward and see that the countdown clock is back enabled and we're counting down to T-0, I will be happy to provide another quick update or summary about what we're expected to see here today. And because we are currently in a hold, I'm going to switch my timer over here to yellow, which means we are holding for countdown. Thanks everybody who has popped in so far today, whether you're in chat or you're just kind of hanging out in the background and watching stream. We appreciate all the support. We really do. I'm not seeing any updates from any of the team members over at NASA Spaceflight. So I am anticipating that we're probably still in that hold. All right. With that being said, we are keeping our eyes peeled. We are not going too far from the stream, but we will drop off comms here for a few minutes. And just like that, as I was expecting, the NASA Spaceflight team has updated their stream to be starting in about 23 minutes. Actually, let's hold tight for another 30 seconds to a minute here, because they may just be pushing their stream out a little bit just to stay ahead, and to make sure nobody is kind of on the edge of their seats expecting their stream to start soon. The other possibility is that they've gotten an update from Astra about the T minus, the countdown. And if that's the case, I think Astra would likely post a tweet here in the next couple of minutes about where we're at. So let's hold tight for another minute. If Astra doesn't post a tweet, I'll step away for a bit, and we'll see what kind of updates we have. Quick refresh. All right. I'm not seeing any updates here. Let's step away for a bit, and I will provide any updates as soon as we have it. Thanks for staying tuned in, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey everyone, how's it going? We're still waiting here to see if there's going to be any updates. We'll see if there's any updates provided from NASASpaceflight or Astra. For now, we're just standing by, and we don't have any more information beyond the update that Astra provided that they were holding at 1 hour and 45 minutes. So we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep looking at their Twitter. We'll keep checking NASASpaceflight. I did want to just pop in and provide an update and just wait for this NASASpaceflight countdown to hit 0. Again, we're looking at their stream countdown. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if they go live here in the next minute or so, that would be a good sign. But we have no guarantees at the moment. So stick around, and we should have an update here shortly, I believe. In other news, I think I'm a little overexposed here. I might need to change the exposure settings on my camera, but our sample for some apparel we're working on came in today. It's based off of Starship. Super excited to have this in. And it looks white kind of right now in the camera, but it's gray. Got some like metal detail work and the heat tiles and everything. It's pretty cool. I'm happy with the way it came out. But yeah, stick around. We'll see if NASA Spaceflight goes live here in the next couple minutes. I'm just gonna prepare in case they do, and I'll be back momentarily. I do just want to provide one quick update while we're waiting to see what happens here. We're approaching 3 o'clock Eastern Time. The launch window for Astra today goes to 4 o'clock Eastern Time. So, I really would expect that we get an answer pretty soon regarding the likelihood of this launch happening today. I don't think that they have the ability to go past that 4 p.m. time frame. And if they said they were holding the clock at T-minus 1 hour and 45 minutes, that would have to mean that the T-minus clock is already counting down at this moment and that we haven't gotten an update that is stating such. If they were to start the clock right now at T-minus 1 hour and 45 minutes, they would be going past their 4 p.m. Window. Let me just double check that window while I'm talking here just to make sure I'm giving you accurate information. According to spaceflightnow.com, this launch window only goes until 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So I think they're probably approaching that time where they will decide if they're going to be able to make this window or not. So stick around for a while. I think we're going to get some updates here soon. That's going to give us an indication about when this is going to happen. So stand by and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, we actually have an update here. If you check out what I got going on over here, give me a moment. I missed this update. Oh, well, I was going to provide you an update that they resumed countdown from T minus 1 hour and 5 minutes, and that live coverage was going to start around 2:45 Eastern time. Of course, we've already passed that time. The NASA spaceflight official stream of today's launch just had about a minute left on the countdown, so I was anticipating that this was actually going to start up pretty quickly here. But I'm just now seeing 5 minutes ago that Astra posted that they're holding for live coverage of the mission. Stay tuned for updated time. So as I stated a few minutes ago, we're going to be kind of nearing their end of the window here in about 1 hour. So Astra should come back with the next update, and that next update really should give us an indication of what's happening. If they provide a T minus 0 time again between now and 4 o'clock, then that's a really good indication that they're still trying to go for launch today. It's also possible that Astra's next update is going to state that they are going to hold down for the day due to weather or whatever the reason is that they're currently holding. That being said, the fact that they just stated that we should stay tuned for updated times is an indication that they have not made any decision about this not happening today. So everything is still pending. We are still planning for a launch today. If Astra does come out and give us a new T0 time, we will update you, and we'll go through a summary of what we're expecting here, what this launch is all about, and we're going to be here to answer any of the questions that you have. There's been a lot of people just kind of hanging out, waiting for this launch to start, and I really appreciate the support. It really means a lot that you're here with us today. While we're kind of waiting for this thing to happen, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to put them in the chat. We're constantly monitoring the chat for questions and comments, and I'm happy to jump back onto comms at any point just to answer any questions that you have. But if you are watching, feel free to let me know where you're watching from. It does really help us to kind of understand the demographics of our viewers. And if you're watching from the United States, let us know what state you're watching from if you're comfortable with doing that. And if you're watching from a different country, let me know where. That's super helpful for us. We're gonna jump back off comms here just for a few more minutes until we get this final update from Astra. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll talk to you in just a few minutes. I'm still muted. All right, everyone. The NASA spaceflight stream is starting, which indicates we are still go for launch, and we are anticipating a T0 time here shortly. Let me go full screen for you and bring you into their live stream. We'll be providing commentary during their live stream, and we're going to be answering any questions from the audience as well. So if you have any questions, let us know. It looks like we're getting right into this. This is exciting. Just give us a moment to get everything settled here. We'll get you audio here in just a moment.
Thank you for your patience. If you've been waiting for us to begin the stream, the team is actively troubleshooting and so everything appears nominal. We're also keeping an eye on the weather. A cold front has moved through the area last night and into this morning, so we are keeping an eye on those surface level winds. But pending the range asset, we believe everything else is looking good for our upcoming T0 time.
We will continue to monitor the status of that range issue and the weather as well and keep you updated as we hear more. But right now, the clocks are proceeding as we're coming up on 20 minutes and counting. Once again, Astra and NASA Spaceflight are partnering to produce this live stream, so thank you to Astra for helping cover some expenses involved in making that happen. And while we wait for more word as the countdown proceeds, we're also going to just do a brief overview of today's mission, which is the NASA LV0008 mission. There are 4 CubeSats on board, 3 from different university teams, and 1 from the NASA Johnson Space Center. Carolina, you want to talk a little bit about the orbit that we are targeting today?
Yes, we are heading to an orbit of 500 kilometers and 41 degrees, where we will deploy the 4 payloads from four different universities: the University of Alabama Tuscaloosa, the University of California Berkeley, New Mexico State University, and then NASA's Johnson Space Center.
We're going to step in here in a moment and give everyone a summary of what this launch is all about. For now, you can hear the commentary from the NASA Spaceflight live stream. NASA Spaceflight is the official live host for this broadcast as partnered with Astra. If you need to see the license information, please feel free to check out our description. We have permission to stream this launch and provide commentary as well. I will be giving a summary here shortly, and I just want to get some updates out, and I will be with you just momentarily.
Space Force, in particular, the Space Launch Delta 45 and Space Florida, who have been absolutely wonderful to work with. One of the advantages of Astra's launch system is that much of the system is very easy to transport. So everything you see actually fits in shipping containers, and so we can really launch with just a pad and a fence and some internet. So we have been very grateful for the work from our partners in getting our pad set up very quickly over the last few months to make today's mission possible.
Excellent. This is also, of course, the first mission with payloads on board an Astra rocket that will be deployed into orbit as actual satellites. The LV0008 mission is part of the Educational Launch of Nanosatellites program for NASA. This mission is also being referred to as the Venture Class Launch Services Demonstration 2 mission, which is the class of launch services NASA uses for these dedicated small satellites.
sorry about that. We're stepping away from the live stream for just one quick second to give you a quick summary of what we're expected to see here. And thanks, John, for the update that I was muted. We're still getting used to this. But so the NASA Spaceflight stream that we're watching here is provided by NASA Spaceflight. We have permission to stream, and we have permission to provide commentary over this. If you need any license information, please feel free to look into the description. And I appreciate the update, Brian. So just a real quick summary, and then we'll jump back onto the stream audio. This is the first time that Astra will be launching from Cape Canaveral. They're a new launch provider. They've had 6 launches. The most recent launch was successful. They got to orbit and deployed their payload. Prior to that, they were having some troubles getting to orbit, but of course this is a new launch vehicle under development, and that was not unexpected, and it was a very good thing to see that they actually eventually made it to orbit. So this is their first launch from Cape Canaveral. Let's quickly look here. They're launching from sorry, one second. Cape Canaveral Air Force Station Launch Complex 46. So this is out on the edge of the Cape. As you know, the Kennedy Space Center is right here. This is where all the NASA launches happen. Cape Canaveral is technically a different entity. This is where a lot of the non-NASA launches happen. So Florida is going to have a very busy year. There's going to be potentially up to 1 launch per week from Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. If you're visiting Orlando or anything for some family vacations, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to go a drive about an hour and go see a rocket launch. So keep that in mind. Astra is also the first company that is using a new FAA licensing process to get permission to launch from Cape Canaveral. So there's a lot of new launch providers up and coming, and it's important as a country and our government to not hold these launch providers back from succeeding. Of course, we need to make sure that they're successfully and safely doing the job that they intend to do, but we want to make sure that regulations and stuff don't hold them back unnecessarily. So the FAA has recently debuted this new launch license process called Part 450, and Astra is the first one that's using this process to get their license to launch from Cape Canaveral. So Part 450 is a launch licensing structure for commercial spaceflight launch and reentry operations that consolidates multiple parts under a single licensing regime. So this was directed from the National Space Council to encourage American leadership in space commerce. So basically we want to give these small launch providers as much opportunity as possible to get their payloads up into orbit and to succeed. The more options we have to get up to space, the better, the cheaper. It's all around good thing. So all of this information that I've just read to you is from Astra.com and also Astra's Twitter page. Feel free to check out their pages for some more information. Let's just quickly recap on their previous launches, and then we'll get right back to the stream. So as you can see here, they've had 6 launches. One of them technically didn't launch, but up until November 20th, 2021, those had been failed launches, but they did successfully make it to orbit on November 20th, 2021. So today, let's hope we see the second successful orbital insertion by Astra. And all that being said, I'm going to bring you back into the stream. I'm going to start bringing the audio back in from the stream as well. If anybody has any questions during this event, please feel free to post those in the chat. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. And let's get excited for this launch, guys.
On countdown based on updates from the rock, Astra is just going to finish running its steps from step 122 to 140, and then stop at terminal count entry.
I'm going to move my camera here a little bit so it's not as in the way. Just give me a moment to do that. And I think we're green again, so let's update my little indicator back here. We are green. We're currently go.
Step 122, Tango, can you please reactivate machine AV1 power ESC?
All right, there we go. So Astra is a relatively, so there's this rocket that we're looking at here is a relatively small launch vehicle. This is a small sat launcher.
Toggle on power ESCs.
This is, sorry, I'm just holding
toggling
for comms.
power ESC.
Paul asks, will there be any onboard video of staging or fairing jettison? I'm not entirely quite sure here, Paul, and I'm really hoping so. We'll really have to see. This is the first for Astra in so many different ways. I'm really hoping that they do provide some onboard video of staging and fairing jettison, but really we'll just have to see. Again, this is their first launch from Cape Canaveral, so I think they're really just going to have to start trying to nail down their whole procedures for launch. I'm sure they want to give us, the viewers, the best experience possible, but I think they're really, really focused on the launch operations right now. I will not be surprised if we don't have, like, really, you know, I would not be surprised if we don't have the best video during launch. But, you know, that remains to be seen. So we'll stay tuned here and see if we can see that.
And at this time, please confirm status of ESC flights. Tango, toggle dry spin both.
And we do have an update for you all. Unfortunately, due to a range asset that has gone out of service today, we are going to stand down from today's launch attempt of the Alana 41 mission. Our launch window does extend to tomorrow as well, at the same time, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can follow us on Twitter at Astra for updates on the latest. Thank you for joining us today, and we're going to give it another try tomorrow.
Absolutely. Again, thank you to Astra for partnering with us on this live stream to help make this happen. We'll be back with more coverage hopefully tomorrow, pending the resolution of that range issue like we said. So we hope you all come back and tune in again tomorrow. And
all right. So what we just heard was not super unexpected. What Astra just stated is that launch is not going to happen today. It appears that there was an issue with range. Generally, range issues indicate that there is something in the launch safety area off of Cape Canaveral that shouldn't be there. So let me just bring up a view of Cape Canaveral here again as well. Generally speaking, off the coast of Cape Canaveral, there will be a zone where ships and boats cannot get into or should not go into. And if there's any concern about safety in that area, if there is a ship in that area, or if there's unexpected activity, then you can't launch. Now, range doesn't only incorporate the safety zone. There are other things that go into range safety. So we're not really entirely sure what caused the scrub for today. But as you heard, launch is not happening today. They're going to try again tomorrow. Of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow as well to see if we get a chance at a launch tomorrow. For now, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support today, whether you were just watching in the background, if you were chatting, anything at all. I really do appreciate that. My name is Andrew. I am from Solid Rocket Future, and here on Solid Rocket Future, we want to provide updates about the most exciting things in space. We mostly cover human spaceflight and new launch vehicles. We'll be talking a lot about things like SLS, Starship, those types of things. This is a new launch vehicle that hasn't launched very many times, and this would be their first launch from Florida. So we wanted to take the opportunity to host a stream and share the excitement about this launch with everyone. That being said, if you want to subscribe to the channel, we do recommend turning on notifications if you want to be alerted about these upcoming exciting missions. We host some live streams on our Twitch channel as well for the more usual, everyday, less exciting, but still very exciting streams, like all of the Starlink launches, all the kind of normal the normal launches that don't involve human space travel or something new and exciting, we do all those on our Twitch channel. So if you do sign up for notifications here on a YouTube channel, it's not like you're going to get notifications all the time. You'll only get notified when we go live for these exciting space events. Brian says, it's true. They really do need to revise how these launches are handled now that we have more than one a week. Absolutely. The FAA needs to revise processes. Range safety needs to revise processes. The rate at which the space industry is growing right now is really unprecedented, and everybody that's involved in this industry, directly or indirectly, is going to have to kind of come together to make everything more efficiently so we can keep progressing at the rate we currently are. We can see some really amazing things happen in this industry over the next few years if we keep pushing forward. So let's hope that all parties are on board with trying to get all this stuff happening with the least amount of roadblocks as possible. Again, thank you all so much for coming. You don't even understand how much it means to me. This is what I want to be doing for at least the rest of this year. I'm gonna try hard to try to make this a successful channel and to provide an opportunity to get people excited about what's happening in the space industry. So that's gonna be it for me for now. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Check out my website if you need any of my social links to follow. Website is rocketfuture.org. That's rocketfuture.org. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.